Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. When I was at Kent State University, I had a professor. She was actually my advisor, and um, I worked under her for research, Dr. Elizabeth Mullins. She said to me something that really helped me to run at information without fear or abandon, but it also put me in a place to stop worrying about not knowing enough. She said, the only difference between you and I is that I read the book first. You have the same opportunity to read the book. And in fact, you can read a newer edition. That was like a gift because I thought of her as this incredibly brilliant woman who knew so much that I would never be able to achieve that kind of level of thinking. But what she gave me was this idea that she read it first. She was older. She got there before I did. And we have the same opportunity to learn what she learned. I know a lot about the things that I'm interested in. And these things that I'm interested in tend to be things right now that others want to know and they're interested in. But they want me to give them what I know. And that's no more possible than me giving you the food I ate. I can't give you the food I ate. I never understood my mother saying, you want to have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't mean it's my cake, I can eat it. It means wanting to eat the cake and still have the cake be visible. People want to know what you know without doing the work to get there. And the beauty of life is this. You have the same opportunity to know what I know, but to get an updated version of what I learned. 2 years ago, I spent every day reading the narratives of enslaved people. I read nothing but narratives of enslaved people, and it took me to a place and a time that I thought, how am I going to get out of this? The first 2 books made me so angry, I wanted to just find some way to exact revenge. And then one night, in the middle of the night, something woke me up and it said, if you're reading the book, they got to freedom. So then I started reading differently. I started reading like a sociologist. I started reading, looking for the breadcrumbs and the recipe, the ingredients to freedom. Not just freedom from the enslavement of the physical self, but freedom from the enslavement of the mind. And I found ingredients that have led me through something that I didn't even know was coming, this pandemic. Last year, I decided to read the narratives of people who were abolitionists, people who went into harm's way to bring others out. Those were really difficult to read. I could understand the deep yearning for freedom when you had been caged like an animal. I could not comprehend the need for those who were free, living in wealth. Abolitionists, for the most part, were not poor people. They had means, and they used those means to do the right thing. And I really needed to understand, what was it? And the things that emerged were absolutely beautiful. They understood that their light was connected to the light of others, and that if you diminished anyone else's light, you couldn't light your own pathway. You couldn't see your way. That until everybody was free, nobody was free. That Black lives mattered way back before 1865. I hear from people saying, but which books did you read? Tell us the ones you read. There are hundreds of books by people who had been enslaved, and they're very difficult to read. And the thing about reading those, you don't get a newer version. Oh, you can get someone else writing about. But there's something about reading the voice of the person who had to find their way. There's something about it that gives me the ability to find mine. And a great deal of my patience comes from what I often joke about 400 years of practice, reading the lives and the works of others, and seeing that if they got to freedom without even knowing their letters, what should I be able to do with the handbooks that they've left me? We keep choosing to try to find the popular thing, the thing that someone else knows or has or does or did, when whatever you yearn for is there. You have to say it. Because like that beautiful Arabic proverb says, when a person seeks their purpose, the universe conspires to make it happen. And then you have to seek it. And when you do, you'll find yourself so wealthy on the other side that you want to make sure that others get there too. I love you.